Getting it together, getting it together. What's up, guys? What's up? Whoa. Talk about teams, We can't I came here today to talk about teams and leadership. Welcome to the Comfort Level Podcast. It's me, your girl Janny Schmanny. What's good? What's good? We connected up. We've been doing a lot of things, trying to get a lot of things together. As you know, we're back here at WCMD Media, and we've been trying to, put together a system together. So that's why our guest today is coming to talk to us about leadership from the front lines. And I'll tell you a little bit more about him later. But as you know, here at WCND Media Podcast, we're a collaboration of committed volunteers who recognize the strength and opportunity of our city's diversity. And we are committed to the cultural and commercial growth of our communities. And we like to provide everyone with an opportunity to have a voice in identifying what matters most to them and to others so that we can influence the decisions that will affect us all positively. And we have a real opportunity to learn and grow in a way that reflects the values of the entire community. So I'm inviting you guys to join in our chats, like our pages. We're broadcasting now on 8 pages right now, so you can catch us on Facebook pages. You can also catch us on the web. You can catch us on YouTube pages, anywhere you get your podcast. Look for the Comfort Level, Reality Music CO. We got Fred Gone Legit, WCMD Media. Just look for our podcast, our building. We do have a few podcasts going now, so make sure that you check everything out. Especially IMD, the Wake Up Show in the morning. That's coming on every day, consistently. And he also has Tommy Too Smooth as his co-host. Hello, Versailles. And hello to effing body over there. Yeah, that's over there in Instagram land. We are not connected to Instagram, although I'm broadcasting Instagram over there and have them viewing our screen, one of our screens. All right, so we got some things coming up. We've been doing some things. Last week we had Rosie Weinberg. Fred's not here at the moment. He's on the way. We always get stuck in traffic because this is what we do, this podcast at rush hour. So the podcast has been done at rush hour. We just gotta take a little bit more time. I was running late myself, but the thing of it is somebody got to be the leader. Okay, somebody got to be the leader. I'm the leader of the Comfort Level Podcast, so I had already set up my computer, my stream to be ready, and all I had to do was come in and put it up. So I had tinkered around a little early. Me as a leader, I'm ready for war. You know what I mean? That's what I wanted to talk to Fred about, that we could introduce our guests coming in by actually talking about what we were ready for, Now, our guest coming in is going to get us ready, okay? Well, he's going to talk to us about getting ready because he's written a book. He's written the book, Leadership from the Front Lines. His name is Craig HENZEL, and he definitely will be talking to us today. So It's gonna be have a decent show when he gets in here. All right, so this is what we have going on today. Craig HENZEL, leadership from the front lines. Now, I believe Craig is from Philadelphia. You know, as I was reading some of his bio, you know, I don't all the time get to read the entire story or have be able to follow the path of the person that I'm interviewing, of the get future guest. But you know what I mean? So, but I believe he's coming to us via Philadelphia and he'll be online. How y'all doing today out there? What's going on? How was everybody's weekend? I had a good weekend. I did really okay. It was really cold, you know what I mean? I tried to, what's the name? I had a little back thing, you know. I got my hair done. Now it's burgundy. It was blonde. You know how we do. So, you know, things is pretty good. But anyway, and anywho, being a leader is hard, you know, because sometimes being a leader, people think that you're being pushy or, you know, you're you're being some type of way or whatever because you put boundaries and restrictions and rules on how the business has to run. You know what I mean? And the same with relationships. You know, we're gonna get into some of relationships on Thursday with Fred going legit because you know we've been dabbling back and forth on different topics. You know, and the family structure is the most important thing to us. So what we're doing is, well, I was talking about being a leader, you know. So I have to book guests. I have to explain to the guests about my podcast. I have to keep the website up for the podcast. It has to come over in order for us to build our audience. We have to keep it interesting. It has to look good. And people just got to want to see it. So it's a lot of things that we're getting to that we should have gotten to. And I understand that. And there's a lot of people, you know, that say they want to, you know, do business with you. You know what I mean? But sometimes that doesn't always happen because they don't see the same vision that you see. But that should not interfere with the leadership, because if you want to be a part of a team is team play. Okay? You have to be a team player. You know, and everything that goes down may not be your way, or it may not be when you want it, or it may not be exactly how you expected it to come out, you know? So this is the reason why we have these podcasts, so that we can come into discussions about different things that, you know, happen in our life. What's up? That's Benji. What's up, Benji? So, you know, somebody has to be the leader. Somebody has to be, you know, there's captains and there's sailors. So, you know, and not to say that there can only be one. No. Now, that is something that I don't believe that there can only be one captain. I know they say too many cooks spoil the brew. You know what I mean? But two cooks might make a good brew. I don't know. What you guys think? Put that in the comments. Put that in the comments. Also, if you're interested in being a get featured guest, whether in studio or online, put your email in the comments as well. Yeah. How you doing? How you doing? This is who we got? A confident liar. Oh, how you doing? Yeah. So we got a few people over there on Instagram, and I want to say, guys, this is the Comfort Level Podcast. I am on Instagram on Reality Music CO on my artist development page. And the reason why I chose to do that is because all the platforms that this broadcasts on, it doesn't broadcast on the Instagram, and it's not as many followers on the Instagram as it is on the reality music. So I figured that I would give my guests and my co-hosts and myself and the show more viewers. That's what I think. So, doing that, I may not do it all the time on the same page, because I have multiple pages, multiple pages on Instagram where I'm a brand builder, so I'm building brands and doing different things on the Instagram. All right, I think we got a comment in here. Hi, Rosie, how are you? Oh, yes, the evening is wonderful. Yeah, it's a little chilly outside, but not too bad. Yeah. So I have a great guest coming up tonight. His name is Craig HENZEL, and he's going. If you just joined us, he wrote the book Leadership from the Front Lines. So he's been acting as a leader for over 3 decades. And he's going to come and he's going to talk to us, and I'm going to ask him some questions about his background and things like that and his career progression. Yeah. So I think it was great. He spent some time in the military and things like that. Fred's on his way here. And then probably by the time Fred gets here, hi, Monty G. Thank you for joining. That's my guy, Monty G. Monty G, y'all gotta watch the news, because Monty G's on Fox, Monty G's on 6 ABC. And anytime that I get to be in his company, I take care of my guy, Monty G. Okay? That's the human beatbox right there. He is Philadelphia's #1 Eagles fan. And I've just plugged you in, Monty G, because I love you. And I'll take and I'll put your pictures or your video up on my, you know what? Monty, hit me up. Put your email in there. Let's just get an interview. Then I'll put you on my website, baby. That's it. I have to write that down. Monty G. Don't let me forget. Yes. And Monty G is also part of the Tough Crew. Yeah. He's the beatbox. Yes. And he can blow. Okay, he can blow, because I was right there with him watching blow. We go watch him blow. He can blow. He blows on television. Philadelphia's icon. They love him, and so do I. Yeah. Well, Greg's not here yet. His name is Craig. I gotta put it up. Yeah. So he'll be here sooner or later. He comes in at 5:30. So this is Craig HENZEL, and he's going to talk to us all about how he is able to lead and what it should be for us. Yeah. So Rosie's going to come back with us. She's scheduled for January 12th. January 12th, Rosie Weinberg, playwright, RW Entertainment, and one of her cast members will be here. We had, how many did we have? 1, 2, 3, 4 and a half. 4. We had 4 of our cast members here last week. We had a great time. We had a great time. Yes, we had a great time. And so we're going to have that back so that we could have more of a, question and answer segment. So once again, that's January 12th. Oh, guys, what are you doing for New Year's Eve? New Year's Eve, what are you guys doing? Me, I'm going to be Jerry Blavitt and the Intruders. Yes, Jerry Blavitt and the Intruders dinner show. And that's going down Atlantic City. It's going to be good. Where's it at? Atlantic City. It's going to be great. We're going to have a great time. We're doing that. And after that, January, we'll be back down in Atlantic City for hip hop. Yeah, it's the All Stars of Hip Hop, KRS-One, The Locks, Mace, Freeway, Beans. So, I mean, we have fun too. This is, of course, this is the comfort level. We have fun. Only time it seems stuck up is when I'm here alone, talking to myself, and the audience is not talking. Nobody's talking in the chat or whatnot like that. So that's what we do, So we're going to be bringing the guest in soon, and we're going to have a nice talk with him, So back to the leadership, just some a few things on being a leader, just like Rosie. Rosie's a leader. She writes plays. She picks the characters. She makes, first of all, it's more than just writing a play, okay? All right, when you write a play, you create a person. Unless you are imitating a play or a real life something that already happened, if it's a reenactment, then you're making a play and you're making that from scratch. You're creating these personalities, these people that don't exist to make this play, to get this message across. That comes with a lot of talent, because you have to make sure that you have the right ones in the right place, and you got to make sure that they're emphasizing exactly what you had in mind, or it's not going to fit. It's not going to fit. So with that being said, delegating is a very hard thing to do. So it takes a lot of discipline. It's not only to make yourself happy or your company. I mean, you do have to make the company happy, but also if the employees are not happy, The camp's not happy. The team is not happy. It's not working. And I hate to sound however you want to put it, but if everything doesn't click and things are not in order, things are not working. So somebody is not delegating the right things. Hi, Derek Williams. So people have to listen and learn, and they, first of all, if everybody's not on the same page and have the right concept of what's being done, I don't know where you're at, like, I don't know, as far as this podcast, I'm fine, Derek. We're talking about being leaders. If you want to ask some questions and stuff like that. So as far as being a leader, you have to worry about other people's feelings and things like that, and the way you put things, the way you talk. And trust me, I know from experience that it can get hectic because everybody does not understand you. So when you put yourself in that position, you put yourself into that position to say, well, I want to understand you. And I don't think that it was actually designed to be that way, but we're going to find out. I don't think that it was designed to be that way. I think it was designed for the employee to just follow instructions. But it doesn't work good like that as a team. As a team, it doesn't work good like that. You need more cooperative and, just more teamwork. I had to get that. You just need more teamwork, and that's it. When the team is working together, things flow a little bit more smoothly. The guidelines is followed, and everybody's and this is the reason why they have unions and meetings and things like that, to make sure that everybody's on the same page. And that can happen. Everybody can be on the same page. You know what I mean? So, so what we're doing is we're going to do a little bit more to stay on the same pages and just bring you guys some more amazing topics and some fun going down the line as well. That's what we're going to do. Yeah, Derek says all the teamwork doesn't work all the time. I know it doesn't, because everybody wants to be the boss, Everybody wants to be the boss. But you know what? How about this? Why can't the boss give the employee some time to be the boss? Go ahead. You got it. But the point of the matter is you have to be led first. If you don't know what you're doing, then how can you be the boss? You know what I mean? That's all the same. If you work in the ice cream parlor, you got to know how to make ice cream sundaes. And banana splits. You don't just cut up a banana and put it on the boat. He's going to show you how to do it. You know what I mean? And then in turn, you can show somebody else. So somewhere down the line, everybody is a leader. If you teach anybody anything, you're a leader. You're a mentor. But you got to do some things right. Derek says, right, you're right about that. And if you don't know what you're doing, you might as well step back and let someone else be the boss, because everything don't work your way. That's right. And it's the easiest way to learn. It's the easiest way to learn is to step back and watch and listen. Yeah. if you want to learn, most of the time nowadays, people don't want to learn anything. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna send this invitation out to our guest and get him in here so that we can talk to him, talk to him, so we can talk to him. Yeah, and we'll see if he's ready to come in back. All right, so he should be waiting sooner or later. So, what's going on over here? We got Drama Boy. What's up? How are you guys? Oh, everybody came in the building today. What's going on? Leave me some messages. Leave a comment. Leave your email. If you want to get your music on radio, leave your email. So if you want to learn how to be the boss, you have to learn their way and sit down and watch them do it. Yeah. And that doesn't even mean that you can't even find a better way once you learn how they're doing it, because you gotta think that goes for employees. But what about when you're building a team, you know, together from scratch? If you're building a team together from scratch, that now maybe you come up with two bosses. Now that's where you get into something. I keep looking at this dot on my screen and it looks like a dot on my nose. It was irking me. So, you know, we're waiting for Craig to get his thing together. So, but while we're waiting, let me tell you a little bit about him. So, Mr. Hensel, Craig Hensel, has written Leadership from the Front Lines, which is it's a novel he written where he shares his experiences with readers who are looking to level up their leadership skills. Okay, we are looking to level up our leadership skills. So this is why I invited Craig Hensel to come talk to us from the front lines. He wrote the book on it, you know, which is not a joke. It's not a joke at all. You know, we need to level up our leadership skills in this environment. It's changed so drastically in the past several years. You know, we need to remain positive. You know, we need to remain positive. We need to develop and gain the most from our teams, and that's what, you know, we're trying to do with Mr. Craig Hensel. All right. So we're gonna bring our guest in today. Welcome, Mr. Craig Hensel. Can you hear us okay?
Can hear you great. How's the audio on my end?
Great. Wonderful. So I was just explaining to the audience that you've written a book, Leadership from the Front Line, where you share your experiences for readers who are looking to level up.
Yes.
They're looking up that level up their leadership skills. I told them about how the environment has changed so drastically in the past years.
Yes.
Yeah. So, Mr. Hensel, global leadership experience, it spans over 3 decades, and you were captain in the U.S. Coast Guard,
Yes, ma'am, I was.
and then you transferred over to a role of a corporate executive.
I worked my way up, and I'm not there yet.
Worked your way.
Yeah.
That's yeah, yeah. So and you oh wow, you did a lot though, all over the world.
It is. It's one of those things you can tell from the gray hair, Jenny, that I'm
Yes.
I'm well seasoned. Why don't we put it that way?
Okay, you're well seasoned. I'm
That's
well
right.
seasoned too. Just that the hair, you can't see it. You can't see it right now.
Looks good from you.
So you had executive positions at General Electric, Johnson and Johnson, Merck, AstraZeneca, and Genpact, and things
Yeah.
like that.
That's right.
Wow.
And currently, I'm a managing director with Accenture.
Okay, so let the
Yeah.
people know we're tell us about your background.
Okay, sure. Well, first of all, thanks so much for having me. Really appreciate it. The book Leadership from the Front Lines, it'll be out here in the next probably 7 to 10 days. We'll officially release it. I'll tell you before I go into the background, I don't make any money off the book. All the net proceeds from the book go to solving veteran homelessness in the United States.
More of what we need. We need even more of that. This
So
is my close. I like to introduce you to Fred going legit.
Going legit. I
Mr.
saw.
HENZEL,
Fred, how are you?
how are you, bro?
Excellent, my friend.
I came across you some time back, and when I looked at you, I said, "Yeah, I remember this guy." I think what you're doing is huge, is commendable, admirable, beyond honorable. Our guys that stood for our country and put their lives on the line should have some, should be able to live, should be able to, you know how it is.
Yes.
And it's not just a cliche with, our guys being disenfranchised and not having a place to go or a leg to stand on or some resources or help. And these guys are veterans. So yeah, I like what you're doing. I come from a veteran family, so that's huge.
So what was your upbringing like?
I'll tell you, I was born in Detroit.
Okay.
Born in Detroit. My dad worked downtown at the Cadillac plant. Born a few years ago. We were just talking, Fred, just before you got here. All the gray hair. It shows that there's a little something in there. So
A little salt and pepper, man. What's good on you?
Thank you. And spent the first 10 years of my life there. I've got an older brother, older sister. Sorry, an older sister and a younger sister, 2 sisters. Both mom and dad worked, and we were kind of brought up with strict upbringing, but fair. And you had responsibilities,
Yes.
right? You not only you made your bed and you kept things clean, but you helped out around the house, brought garbage out. You did what you needed to do, and that just kind of carried on when we moved after I was 10. We moved to Connecticut and we took over the paper route, right? And that's kind of right. We took over the paper route from the folks who were doing it before, and so my dad and my mom would be back home, but we'd get up 4:30, and start delivering papers like 100+ houses, around the neighborhood, just walking around and delivering them, and kind of that early work ethic is now, I think all three of us, older sister, younger sister, and me, we get up, before 5 with, no alarm set or anything. You just kind of wake up, you get after it, and you start getting into the day. So went to high school, in Connecticut, played basketball, had some success there. I was 2-time All-State basketball player. I led the state in scoring my senior year. Recruited with some schools, but ended up going to the Coast Guard Academy, which is right there in Connecticut. And spent 4 years there. It's a military academy like Annapolis or West Point or the Air Force Academy, Marine Academy. Guaranteed job 5 years after you graduate. And I went to 2 ships back to back. The Coast Guard cutter Tampa, almost a 300-foot Coast Guard cutter down in Portsmouth, Virginia. We went south into the Caribbean, did drug law enforcement. Actually, one of the drug busts I have was a 60 Minutes episode back in the mid-90s.
Wow.
Yeah. So
I know it. Well, we don't have to get into
Hey,
that.
man.
Well, what inspired you to write the book?
60 Minutes of Fame.
well, it's a great question. Fred kind of touched on it a little bit. We've got folks, men and women, all races, creeds, colors, who are out there bleeding red, white, and blue for the U.S. They come back to the United States, or they go to leave the service, and sometimes they've got issues, PTSD, sometimes substance abuse, whatever it is. We probably owe them a debt of gratitude for all the work that they've done. And I spent my time in the Coast Guard, active duty. I got into the reserves. But then, Janet, to your point earlier, I was at General Electric, Johnson & Johnson, Merck, AstraZeneca, Genpact, and now Accenture. And I did some work for a couple of clients up in Chicago in the November, December, January, February timeframe. And if you've been up there before, you don't want to be outside during those months. But it can get, with the wind, it can get down to like -40. So I was kind of making my way into the office, this client office, and I was seeing people that were outside. They've been outside all night. And at first, you're just kind of dealing with the cold yourself. And I was walking in from like the hotel that the team and I were staying at. That's how I kind of wake up in the morning. And so I started recognizing that folks have been out all night. And then after a week or so of walking back and forth, a couple of folks in the morning were up. And then I realized they were laying on top of some cardboard, a couple of them were, that said homeless veteran. And so I stopped them on the way in and I said, I'm a veteran. If you're a veteran, there's a McDonald's up there. Let me buy you breakfast, man. Let's get out of the cold. Get you a cup of coffee or a breakfast sandwich, take another one, put it in your pocket. I'll treat. But what are you doing out here? And, the first time somebody offers like that, you get kind of the, what kind of game this guy running? And,
what do you want me to do for that?
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. There's never something for nothing. So,
exactly.
What's going on? And so finally, I'm still standing there. I'm cold in a jacket and kind of in a suit. And I said, all right, brother, I'm going to need to see you later because I'm frozen. You've been out all night, but I'm cold just standing here. And so the next day, I see the same person. He's up again, and I go, all right, so I'm a veteran. You're a veteran. Are you hungry today? Because if you're hungry, let's just, there's a McDonald's right up there. We can grab something to eat, grab some chow together. And let's just chat. What are you doing out here? And so that started the whole thought process for the book. I contact the mayor's office. So you realize you've got folks out here on the street who've been protecting and serving and oh yeah, the homeless shelters are full. And I said, I understand that. Let me talk to your military liaison guy. Because every staff has one of those people. And and I said, you want to come out here at 6:30, 6:15, 6:30 in the morning and grab some breakfast with us? Because there's a few of us now I'm taking to breakfast every morning. And by the way, they're on your streets. I'm from Philadelphia. But I'm up here in Chicago feeding your homeless veterans. And we never actually connected with that person face to face, but it started the whole idea. All right, how do we? There are groups of people that have been disenfranchised. This was one of them. We need to address it. I think we've got the means to solve it. And Janet, you said earlier, when you kick this whole thing off, so much has changed. And here's the last thing I'll say, and then I'll turn it back over to you. So much has changed in the last few years. I mean, we've had these black swan events, COVID, and a land war over in Europe now, and kind of social issues bubbling up that were just underneath the surface before, but now we're talking about them, which is great. But how do we take advantage of that? And we've broken the inertia on some of these things. How do we build momentum and solve them, eliminate the root cause? And so I thought in some way, shape, or form, maybe there's an opportunity with a book to highlight some of the issues. Again, all the net proceeds go to solving veteran homelessness. So the straight pass through, I don't get any money.
So that's what the book is about. Is that what the book is about?
The book is about 10 leadership principles. There's a corporate example and a military example of each one. Lead from the front. Take care of your people. Learn from failure quickly. Stuff like that. And it's just, it's my life and some of the experiences that I've had stationed at the Pentagon after September 11th. I was assigned down to the Deepwater Horizon oil rig disaster after it blew up, and working with a lot of the civilian crews that were out there. I was the leading Coast Guard officer on scene, and learning from them. So, I've learned a lot. I've made a ton of mistakes. Those are in the book. And that's what it's about. It's about leading at any level, no matter where you're from. If you want to try and level up from, hey, I just started, Craig. I just started working. I just got out of high school or college, whatever. There's a nugget or two in there for you. And the version that'll be free for everybody as soon as it launches in the next 7 to 10 days is a kind of like a Kindle or a digital version. So you can go through a pretty extensive table of contents and find the things that interest you and just click on them straight to the paragraph.
Wow. Yeah, because the audience is asking where can they get the book at?
So Amazon, or you can go to leadershipfromthefrontlines.com and put your email address in there. And the moment it launches, you'll get an email. Or it's actually, don't tell anybody. It's actually out on Amazon right now. But it's not free out on Amazon right now. It's like $9.99. Give it a couple of days. We'll do the actual launch. And then you get the free version and then fire questions my way and, whatever you need.
Okay, so there you go, guys. Just give a couple of days and go to Amazon and look for Leadership from the Front Lines, or go to leadershipfromthefrontlines.com.
Craig, I'm dying to ask you. So you kind of, I can identify with your upbringing. Like I was telling you, I come from a veteran family.
God bless you.
So, it's funny, your concept is about leadership, but you got to learn how to be a good follower and take good instruction before you become a good leader. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about having to be young and rambunctious and being a kid and having to have your dad, your mentors, your uncle say, you got to do this, that, and the third, and to whip you into shape. Talk about that.
That is a very insightful comment, Fred, and I'll tell you why. And I'll give you a military example of it. So I went to the Coast Guard Academy, and so it's a military university. So you're 6-7 classes a day while you're studying to try and be an officer in the Coast Guard, and you have to learn how to follow first before you can lead. So that's what the whole idea is, to try and level you up kind of through the 4 years. But then when you graduate, you go out into the fleet. And now you're the lowest officer, an ensign in the Navy. It's in the Coast Guard, it's an ensign. It's the first level. You don't know a thing. I mean, you barely even know. You're barely even dangerous. But now you're in charge. you're in charge of a team or a group or a division or a department. And so they're looking to you for leadership, but you're kind of looking back at them for all the knowledge. So they're enlisted folks who are phenomenal, who have been around 5, 10, 15 years, sometimes longer. They've got 5 years of seed time already, 10 years sometimes.
Wow.
These people have been around the world. They've been around the block. They've seen everything. And you need to kind of, you got 2 ears and 1 mouth, listen twice as much as you speak. And that's how you're really going to learn, while you represent the team. So for everything that the team does well, they get the credit for. Everything that the team does poorly, that's a round that you take in the chest, and you go back and figure out how to make sure it doesn't happen again. But uncles, fathers, folks like that, I mean, they come with different names, right? You haven't paid your dues yet. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that. In certain respects, you haven't until you have. And then when you have, and you're on the back end of it, and you look back at this kind of minefield that you walked, you stepped on a few. But in each of those, you learned. And so there is something about paying your dues. There's something about learning how to follow first, like you said, friend, and then earning the right to lead at smaller levels, and then incrementally more and more. It's a good call.
Yeah, it's a growth process, and I like that. I like that concept. So, what are the 2 key takeaways from your book that I think that people should get when trying to figure out leadership? Because I have a thing I'm working on. Leadership is huge, and I think, me being a Black male, leadership needs to be more of a thing, a trend in my community.
That's a stand-up thing to say, my friend. I'll say it as a middle-aged white man. There needs to be more
We
leadership.
need you, bro. We need more like you, bro.
I'll tell you, if everybody just kind of leveled up a little bit, it'd be phenomenal. But the 2 things, if I had to boil it down to 2, it's you need to lead from the front. So the front is where you have the most unobstructed view of the way ahead. And as I said before, if there's any kind of couple of rounds that you need to take for the team can get behind you, and you'll take that. If there's any difficult conversations, I'm happy to have those on behalf of the team. I'll get back to whoever, might need to behave, behavior correction here or there. But you tell me first, and I'll make sure that the message gets through.
So be willing to be the sacrificial lamb.
In certain respects, yeah, because it's leading from the rear. You can't see as well. Everybody's in front of you. They're encountering whatever resistance is first, and that's not what the leader does. In certain cases, a very strategic person, might need to, if they've been through it time and time and time again, it might be easier if they're at a kind of an altitude where they can kind of help see the whole battlefield, so to speak, corporate, school, organization, military, whatever. So lead from the front and get up there and lead. You're going to make some mistakes. That's all right. And probably part 2 is, persistent positive action. This isn't something hard work. We're going to get some hard work. Hard work's kind of a temporary thing. You need to push hard for a period of time. It's like an aircraft. It expends a lot of fuel to get up to altitude, but then it's just a little bit of fuel to keep moving. And you can maintain that altitude. So it's persistent positive action and getting out front. It's hard to dispute either one of those. There could be 2 other things that are greater. I've just seen success in my life has been where I stuck to it, and I just lowered my shoulder, kept my eyes up, but just kept moving.
Just kept moving. So why is it so important to you?
Which piece, Jenny? What do you mean, the book or leader?
To be a leader.
You know what? So here's,
Because you explained to us, it takes so much. What makes you the right man for the job? I don't know. I mean,
you have to earn it. Why is it so important for me? Here's my philosophy. So that the amount of time that we're on the planet, right? It is like, it's small. It is really thin, right? I mean, it is. It's literally paper thin. And then eternity, right? When we go to live with God, that's a long time. So the idea is to maximize that little sliver of time to the extent that you can. And I think with that in mind, I mean, to whom much is given, much is required.
Yeah.
And so if you, the way to really take your potential and turn it into something that could be great, that could impact your community, would be to get up there and lead. It doesn't take millions and millions and millions of people. It's like a small committed group together can change the world. So if you don't maximize that time, in my mind, you could be wasting that little sliver that you've been given.
You're absolutely right. Don't waste time.
So,
No.
but we all
Can't waste
sometimes, like, sometimes when you're building things, or sometimes you have a little setback or something, like that comes in. So, I mean, I've always still stayed persistent, in what I'm doing. What is some of, what was your greatest setback, if you had any?
I've had so many.
Lost count.
Yeah, I try and learn from each one quickly. And when I left active duty in the U.S. Coast Guard, excuse me.
Thank you, Paul.
General Electric, very close to the military. It's like
General Electric too, bro. My step pop, he worked for General Electric. Definitely in the military. Go ahead.
So he probably felt the same way I did. Very similar to the military. GE corporate sets a strategy, and then all the business units fall in line. They execute as close to flawlessly as possible. Okay, I can do that. I've just done that for 12 years, 16 years in the academy. And that was easy for me. It was easy to just get into that culture because it was very familiar.
Okay.
And then I went to Johnson & Johnson, and I was all over the place. I thought, all right, let me run that same play. Okay, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna lean forward. I'm gonna push. I'm gonna be, professionally aggressive. I'm gonna pull the data. I'm gonna do the analysis. I was in finance at the time, and I remember just having all the business unit chief financial officers, all the lead finance people together in a meeting, and I said, okay, this is what we're gonna do. And I'm the new guy, and I kind of laid out the plan. We're gonna do this, and this, and then at the end, the outcome's gonna be X. And there was like complete silence. And I thought, well, what just happened? And one of the chief financial officers said, you know what, Craig? Why don't we tell you what we're going to do, and you can just kind of compile the numbers at the end of the quarter or the end of the year. You don't tell, he was essentially saying, you don't tell us what to do. We're going to tell you what to do.
Wow.
And I said, why don't we take a 5-minute break? I pulled one of the finance people to the side and said, yo, what up? What just happened here? Because I shared with you what I was going to say. You didn't say anything. And so now what I've got is people that are looking at me like, I've got two heads.
Yeah, they're like, what is he talking about?
Yeah, exactly. They said, he said to me, I just wanted to see what they'd say. I said, you knew what they were going to say. So I bring everyone back in and I said, how about this? Let's change the direction of it. Let me work with each one of your finance directors directly, and we'll come up with a plan. And then at the end of the day, present it back to you. And how does that sound? It was a much softer approach.
Yeah.
We actually got the same outcome is what I was saying, but it was their way and it wasn't my way. So they felt better about it. They had their own kind of fingerprints on it. They were able to say
too much pressure.
Yeah. That's
sometimes you have to do that in leadership. Sometimes you have to
But they
do
took
that.
you serious. That's when they took you serious. They didn't want. They couldn't let you know that. They can't say, "Hey, we can." They gotta down sell it a little bit. Seriously.
So I just kind of turned it around. Why don't you tell me what works best for you, and then I'll go ahead and I ended up doing in a day job 18 projects during that year, which is what I said I was going to do anyway. I was signing up for the work. I'm happy to do the work. People ask me, what's your 9-to-5 job, Craig? And I say, I'm a managing director at Accenture. And then I say, what's your 5 to 9? What are you doing from 5 in the evening till 9? Right? That's your time to try and make a difference. So I'd signed up for the work. I was good for it. And so, we ended up having the same outcome, but it was their approach. And what I learned was I really need to kind of bring people along on the journey a little bit, rather than kind of directing and delegating every single time, because it doesn't work in every culture, in every organizational culture, whatever. So
gotta pass it on, man. Gotta pass it on.
No, especially Louise says Black male leaders are needed to help young males have some direction in their lives. And it says military bearings are not always a bad thing, depending on how it's given.
Yeah, that's true.
That was a comment.
Definitely true.
It's probably some of the rough edges from just a very
exactly because when you're in a rough environment, growing up in a rough that tough upbringing makes a big difference when you're in that kind of environment. And you're right, rough around the edges. That's
it. Yeah,
Craig, you get it, bro.
You know what it does is it develops a level of resiliency.
Yeah.
So that when you have setbacks or you have problems or you have issues, they just kind of roll off. It's not a big deal. You just take it as feedback.
I like it.
You're just like, I'm bulletproof on that stuff. It's exceptionally hard to hurt my feelings. You just can't, because I don't take anything.
Let me ask you this. So what do you do about people who look at you and kind of think that like nothing bothers you or you're nonchalant? Like, what do you do about that image that you give people? When it's not that, it's just you being better at tackling, life's going to give you some setbacks. You got to tackle them and you just deal with it as they come. But what do you do when people kind of put you in that light to kind of make you seem like, you're too nonchalant?
Yeah, like I don't care. Yeah, just like he doesn't even care. Look, he's not even getting upset about it. There's been some science around communication. And so if you take your phone and you type up a text message or even an email, only 7% of the communication comes through because it's just words.
Mm-hmm.
So then if you get somebody on the phone and you're able to talk to them, then they hear some voice qualities, volume, pitch, timbre. You can get angry on the phone, right? And people will understand that, but unless you put a few exclamation points into some text messages, no one's really gonna know. Right? The full meaning isn't conveyed. So, but you take the 7% and the voice quality is about 38% and you get 45, so less than half.
Right.
55% is your physiology, your body language. And if I'm putting out the vibe like, I don't care, say what you want, it doesn't matter to me. I'm reading the other person. I try not to put out that vibe because when people are talking, I want to listen. Everyone's got something to say.
Yeah.
But if somebody if somebody is getting that from me, I can see it all over their face because they're looking at me like this.
Mm.
And so I'll ask them,
He froze.
What's going on with technology?
Your screen froze.
Come on,
Mr.
Tech.
Craig.
did it? Okay, so
we got the last look at Mr. Craig.
Craig, I think you froze on us,
He
Craig.
froze with the look. He's
can
coming
you
back.
guys
All
see
right,
me
you're
now?
back.
There you are. You're back.
We
You
missed you
froze.
for about
You gave
20
us
seconds.
you gave us the Vulcan stare or whatever, and you froze. You froze
Okay,
the screen.
so if I'm talking with somebody, or I'm saying something and someone's really not kind of receiving it the way I'd like them to, you're going to know, unless they're sitting completely motionless. They're just kind of, if most of the time, I'm going to say 18 times out of 20, you're going to look at somebody and they're going to be like, what? Or they're going to be, he doesn't get it. Or you're going to be able to tell. And so normally I tend to dig a little deeper and I'll ask some questions, is what I'm saying, does that make sense at all? You don't seem like you agree with it. And I'll just let that sit.
Yeah.
I won't fill the space after that. I'll wait for them to come back.
Yeah.
And most of the time what happens is they'll say, yeah, but no, and then they'll kind of tell you what's on their mind. If you've created like a safe space for them, like you're not over the top, too much energy, whatever it is, you've created a place where they can feel open, that they can make a statement like that and not be, approached harshly. So yes, sometimes people, I've never been accused of not caring, but I could see how, so normally what I have to do is I have to explain, when you've been in the military and you've been in a situation where there's potential loss of life, then your perspective's a little different.
Mm-hmm.
So when people are running around saying, there's a crisis, I go, is it potential loss of life, or is someone,
Right. Yeah.
And if
Exactly.
it's not that, then normally I can ratchet people down and say, it's just a business issue. Why don't we try to find a way around it or through it or over it?
Nobody died.
Yeah.
I can make it all work, And it's funny that
let's
but it comes
recalibrate.
from someone being able to identify with something being okay. Now this is a circumstance, but it's not like 10. This is about a 6, and we can solve it. It's not that bad. Everybody's still alive and well. We can make it work. But
That's right.
It takes a guy with that. You got that thing, that military thing, man. So that's huge.
I was amazed. I'm really amazed. I guess
We used to get them threats. I remember them threats. My stepfather would tell us, "We're going to, he would say we were going to military school." So I remember them days. We got to fix up, or we're going to military school next year.
So why was it a threat though? I think they just used it as a way of straightening up your act.
Yeah, it was a discipline.
Discipline.
It's a discipline tactic.
So when we had our perspective of a soldier, we were in order.
Mm-hmm.
So
I didn't want to go to military school, so I got my act together.
That's right. Fred going legit. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
But you had to learn a lot of lessons, Craig. You had to learn a lot of lessons, I'm sure. So what's one of the most important leadership lessons that you have learned through all of this?
You know what? It's a great question, and thanks for asking. You know what? Humility, probably. Lead with character.
Let's talk about humility.
Yeah, do the right thing when no one's around to watch you.
Wow. Yes.
Yeah.
So, I don't need my mom and dad or my commanding officer, or when I was an officer in charge, I didn't need anyone looking over my shoulder. still needed to do the right thing. And when you, in the military anyway, when you stand and you take.
You're froze again, Craig. Technology gods and freezes. Come on. What y'all doing?
He's into technology.
I can hear you.
We
Can
got
you guys
Mills
hear
in
me?
the house over here on Instagram. We got Fauci.
Mills,
What's
Fauci.
What's up?
Can you see and hear me?
All right, you're
we're
back,
seeing-
Craig.
now
You're back. You're back,
yeah.
bro.
Okay. I was just, I'll keep it brief, but doing the right thing when no one's around to see you.
Take
And to
initiative. That was huge.
it's what, that's probably one of my biggest lessons. It's like at some point in your life, you need to take accountability, full accountability for your actions, your behavior, the outcomes that you have.
And everybody else.
Yeah, that's right. No one's going to do it for you. No one's going to live my life for me. So, if I need to change my behavior, it's on me to do it. And I can't say, well, it's Monday. Friday's better than Monday, or it's raining out. I own my attitude and I own my effort.
Right.
My effort and attitude. And it operates independently of the day of the week. I'm just as fired up on Monday as I am on Friday. And it operates independently of the weather. If it's raining out or snowing, or doesn't matter to me.
You're the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because also might I say it's very
humility.
It's a man's thing, and man thing. Nothing's wrong with the man thing. Man thing is actually a thing for men, for guys. I think it's a good thing.
It's about growing up and being a man. Yeah.
Yeah, being a man. That's all it boils down to. It's just being a man.
Yeah. You do what you say you're going to do. You follow through. You give it your best effort, 100%. All we're looking for is everything you got, right? 100% effort. So you own your effort. You own your attitude. Put them together. Okay. Good to go.
Wow. That was great. I'm inspired. I'm inspired, and I'm inspired to read the book because I know it can only make me stronger.
Definitely, gotta check it out.
That's it. Yeah.
Craig, talk about willpower. Let me ask you about willpower. What's your thing on willpower? Having a will follow through. What's that about?
It's. You asked me. What are kind of two of the biggest takeaways, and one of them is lead from the front, and then persist in positive action. Willpower. I think we probably all struggle with it. The way that I look at it is, if I'm going to get up at 4:15 in the morning, to go train for triathlon, swim, bike, and run, long distances, I don't make that decision at 4:15 in the morning. I make the decision the night before.
Yeah.
So I try and remove willpower out of it. Like, I don't have that debate with myself. I mean, if I set the alarm, I need to be on a plane somewhere to go visit a client.
You're gonna do what you gotta do.
But most time I'm waking up at 4:07 or 3:59 or 4:12 or something like that, and I don't start negotiating with myself. Maybe I'll stay in bed. No, because I've made the decision. And decision actually comes from the Latin root, decidere, which means to cut off from. Cut off from any other option. So you make a decision, and then you kind of take willpower out of it, because then it doesn't become a factor. Well, maybe I'll sleep a little bit longer. No, it's time to get up. And you made the decision the night before, so there's no debate. You just get up and do it. Just get after it.
Craig,
and so
1, 2, 3. Craig back in 1, 2, 3. All right, you're back, Craig.
All right, beautiful. I was just going to say, decisions, Will, are like the ones that can remove motivation's an inside job,
Okay.
right?
Yep.
I don't wait, for something else to motivate me. That's on me.
Right.
This is great.
So
Oh my God.
the idea around, well, I just didn't have the willpower to get up and run 5 miles this morning. I'm gonna run 5 miles tomorrow morning. It doesn't matter what time I go to bed. I'll go to bed when the work's done. And I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna run 5 miles in the morning, and I'm not gonna run 3. Yeah, maybe I'll just kind of do some strength training, lift a little bit. No. I'm gonna run 5, and then I'll do some push-ups and some pull-ups after that. And
Right.
and it's done. I've made the decision. I've cut off from any other option, and then
I'm really liking this.
willpower is out of the window. I'm sorry, Jim.
I feel myself practicing some of those things myself. Lately, just maybe just lately, doing the things that I said I'm going to do and sticking to it. So
Doing it that one time, you get
I
addicted.
feel what you're saying. Yeah.
You get addicted to it. That'll be that ambition, that process, that getting to it and getting it done. You become addicted to that. That can be a drug, and that's a good drug. Being addicted.
You know what? And it builds momentum in your life. I like the way you said that. It builds momentum, and then you start moving quickly, and then you feel like there's nothing I can't do.
Right.
You look back behind you and you see how much ground you covered in a short period of time, and you're like, okay, actually, it's kind of, I'm in the zone here. This doesn't have to be difficult.
Right.
No, you just do what you say you're gonna do.
That's just weird. It's just weird. This whole thing is weird because it's not the usual steps. Usual steps is like go get a job and get an apartment. You're talking about blazing the trail. It's about leading the way, and that's huge, man. That's sometimes that can be a real daunting task for some of us.
You know what? What I found, Will, you bring up a good point. It's about as hard as we make it. We can make it into something big, and we can say, you know what? There's a little psychology here. This is going to be hard. All right, listen. This isn't going to be easy. But your unconscious mind doesn't know the difference between good or bad, right or wrong. It only knows what you tell it. So if you say out loud, right? I think we call it manifesting now. But if you say it out loud, right? If you say it out loud, I'm going to get up at 4:15. I'm going to hit the gym at 5. I'm going to be good to go. I'm going to run 5, and then I'm going to do some strength training. I'll be out there at 6:30. Then your unconscious mind, again, it doesn't know whether you're lying to it or telling it the truth, or what's good or bad or right or wrong. It only knows what you tell it. So all of a sudden it hears that. So then it starts to gear up the rest of the body. All right, listen, we're getting up at 4:15. So now your unconscious mind starts unlocking a lot of these things for you. Yeah. So the whole idea around self-talk, right? Some of these things can be difficult, but I'll never say that out of my mouth because I don't want my unconscious mind to pick it up and believe it.
Right.
Wow.
I don't want believing anything that's not true.
Exactly.
Wow.
What I say is, you know what? It's going to be easy. It's going to be easy. This is easier than I thought.
Right, exactly.
I'm going to have fun doing this. Oh.
There you go. Yeah.
Go ahead.
And it's crazy how well that works. That works. It works. Yeah.
It is easy. Yeah. It works exceptionally well. Because you're telling your mind what you're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then your mind goes to, all right, let's figure it out. And so now you've got momentum inside of yourself. And then you start getting momentum, as Janny was saying, you start getting momentum in your life by doing the things that you said you were going to do. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden you get into this zone where it's like a fast moving train and the slipstream, and you're moving down the track quick. And Everyone else is running their own race. You can bring them on board if they're willing. Again, they own their attitude, they own their effort. So you can't do that stuff for them. But if they want to get on board, they're more than welcome. If not,
That's it.
God bless you. You've got your life to live. I'm going to live mine. I'm going to give it, everything I've got, because we've only got that. We've just got that little sliver that we've got to just maximize.
You're so right. Wow.
I appreciate the example, the flat plane example that I'm very fond of. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. And there's a few little nuggets like that in the book. And, that's why I say, go get the free download, give it a review, give it a read, then give it a review. And if it helps, I put my phone number on there, and I put my email on there.
Oh, wow.
You can call or you can email me if you've got questions. I'm totally open to it. So, there have been a lot of people that have helped me along the way, and there's an acknowledgments page in the back where I try to thank everybody that's ever kind of taken me under their wing and said, Craig, you're not getting done. Yeah, you're making a mess of things, and I'm tell me how to fix it. And people have been patient with me, and I've appreciated that, and and I love them for it. And been a ton of people who have helped me out, people who have worked for me, and people who I've worked for. People have they've been patient with me and kind, and I appreciate it. So that's why they're in the acknowledgement for the book.
So Craig, what's next?
So
you think you'll write another book?
What's the follow-up to the being an effective leader? Because I think this book is going to teach people how to be an effective. I remember hearing growing up, my mom would always say, "Don't be a follower, be a leader." Now you wrote a whole book about it. So
yeah,
I think that's something that needs to be done.
To your earlier point, Will, learning to follow first and then lead. You can't jump to the head of the line if you haven't.
Come on.
If you haven't paid your dues.
All right.
So
Tech Masters of the Universe. Come on, let's get it together. Tech Masters of the Universe. Come on.
Here they come.
I can see you and hear you. Can you hear me?
All right, we got you back now, Craig.
Yeah, I was just saying, you have to learn to follow. You've got to spend some time there, because then you know what a good team member looks like when you're leading.
Yeah.
You may not have done it all well yourself, kind of coming up, but that's okay. I think maybe it's chapter 6 or 7 talks about learn from your mistakes quickly. Just, if you need to get a cry, cry it out, do that, but set your watch. Do it for 2 minutes.
Right.
Don't do it for 2 years. Don't tell yourself how badly you did, for a couple of years. No, learn from it quickly.
Yeah.
Learn from it quickly and move on.
Even worse. It's even worse talking about how bad the bad that happened. Yeah. Giving it more life. Never do that.
Then it starts to become your identity. You start talking about the same old story over and over again, and you're like, what are you doing? No, stop. The last time we talked, you told me the same story. That was a year and a half ago. Haven't you moved on?
I hate that. I can't take that. I don't. Listen. Oh God, don't go over the same stuff.
There's a lot of comfort in the stagnated.
It's not
mind.
Yes, right. So there's no, you don't want to be in neutral, right? You're either moving forward or you're moving backwards, but you want to be moving forward. But movement creates, that's kind of where motivation comes from. You've got to move. You've got to get up and do something. If you're sitting around talking about what woulda, coulda, shoulda, I think you end up, so I've heard you should never should on yourself. Don't should on yourself. Meaning, yeah, I should have done that. I should have done that. I should have done that.
Right.
No. You learn from it. Take whatever nugget you can from it. Don't do it again, and move forward.
Yeah, we couldn't say that in our house. We couldn't say coulda, shoulda, woulda.
No.
We couldn't say coulda, shoulda, or woulda in our house. And my stepfather wasn't having it.
Yeah, there's no time for that. You just either do it or you don't do it.
Yeah, that's it.
It's like doesn't Yoda say that in Star Wars? Do or do not. There is no try.
Yeah, no try. Try in the first period was what my stepfather used to say. You try, you probably plan to fail. So.
Yes, right. It's a good point. Well, I'll try. Really?
Yeah. I sound very confident.
He said, "Really?
You're going to give it 100% effort? Because you own that, right? You own the effort and the attitude. So you're going to try? Nah, don't try. You're better off not doing it. But if you really do it, then do it. Don't. Try. Okay. Is that inspiring for anybody?
Well, look, this is just the house here. I can relate because always when I tell people, and Craig, when I tell people, right, a lot of times I get in a conversation. I say, well, yeah, when I grew up, it was like the Third Reich in my mom's house. My mom was a disciplinarian in the school system, and my stepdaddy was a drill sergeant at work, a drill sergeant at home. So it was tough in my household. We couldn't veer too far to the left or right. So
there were a lot of us that grew up in the same kind of household. My father's German, my mother's Irish. She passed a few years ago, but so there was a healthy dose of, Craig, you know what's right and what's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So do the right thing. Don't, do you need mom or dad to be looking over your shoulder in order for you to be doing your homework?
Mm-hmm.
No. Who's the student? Craig. My mom would say, Craig Reed. You're the student, Craig Reed.
Right.
You do the work. When I was a student, when I was younger, I did the work. Okay?
Yep.
No one's going to be looking over your shoulder when you get your first job. So you're going to need to stand up, make it happen. And so the whole every time I turn around here, there's like drama, this happened or kind of, if I'm online or something, I'm seeing like little clickbait. Did you see what happened to it? And I'm like,
no, you're not lying. That's exactly what's going on. A whole bunch of distractions.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. It's a great way to put it, Will. It is a distraction from what should be your focus. You own your own life's plan, so get after it. Go do it.
All right.
And there's no reasons. Don't let anybody kind of shake you off the path.
Too much information. That's what it is.
Yeah, you're giving out too much information.
I think we're giving out too much information, Craig.
Yeah.
Somebody in the background keep freezing us. They keep pressing the button.
Yeah, well, we're not gonna keep making that impression, but if you just joined us, we're talking with Craig HENZEL. Leadership from the Front Lines is the book that he wrote. You can go to www.leadershipfromthefrontlines.com and read more about him, or you can recap this podcast anywhere you get your podcast. He's going to also have a download of this book coming out in a few days. Do you know exactly when?
So we had talked about what's today's date? The 13th. We had talked about like the 19th or the 20th. But what I'll do is I'll let you know. The best thing to do is this: is to go to leadershipfromthefrontlines.com, as you just said, Kevin. And
okay, we have it down the bottom. We have it.
Yep. Thank you very much. And just put your email address in. And so when the book. Yep. You put your email address in, and then it's not so that I can sell you something later. I'm not doing that. But what the benefit of putting your email address in is that when the book is released, then you get an email. And for the next
All right,
5
you got
days,
that, Derek? I was talking to one of the viewers. You got that, Derek? Put your email in ASAP.
Yes, book is about having the balls to blaze the trail. Leadership from the front line. Seriously. Seriously, that's what it's all about.
That's what it is. So.
Love you, Craig. It's a good book, bro. Can't wait to read it.
thank you, sir. Thank you very much. You know,
Appreciate you. And I can tell that you care about, you know, when I hate to keep bringing it to ethnicity, but I appreciate you sharing that with us, because you could decide, hey, I don't want to talk to those guys, but you did. So it shows that you have a lot to offer, and you know.
Well, it started. It started in his
it.
neighborhood when he was walking down there every day, and he seen the guy down there. That's where it started at. He didn't have to talk to those guys.
Right, right. Something woke him up, and we appreciate you, you know, putting yourself at risk, because essentially you are also putting yourself at risk, you know, spreading this information too. So we appreciate that too. I'm aware of that part.
So, Craig, can you leave us with some last words before we?
Sure, absolutely. It's been an absolute pleasure talking with you, and I've really appreciated the conversation.
Yeah,
And
man, pleasure is all ours, bro.
No, it's mine. It's mine. I'm humbled to be here, and I'm happy to be able to share with you. I think if we're able to have more conversations like this,
yes,
then I think most of the nonsense that's happening, we can have real discussions about gender and race and orientation or whatever, but it's having just a conversation about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's you get to feel it, and you get to feel what others feel.
Yeah. And so I appreciate the conversation. So thank you very much.
That was the best thing you could say. It was.
I mean, it's on point,
you know
bro.
what I mean, and more powerful than you could have said something for the next 10 minutes. You know what I mean? The message, but the message is very clear. We're not talking to each other. We're not communicating, and we're not understanding. Therefore, we're not getting along. And like you said, our time here is short.
It is.
And we got to make the best of it. We got to push through it.
And I thank you for filling in the blanks. You're filling, Craig, I don't know if you understand, you're filling in the blanks that guys like me missed over the years. I may have gotten a little more than others because I had people in my path, and I appreciate that. And I guess I'm blessed and lucky, but I have a lot of friends and family who didn't have those same things in order. And when they did get it, they got it from me. They got it from my family. They got it from, you know, my stepfather, my mom, you know.
Blessings.
So
we need you. We need more people, more men and women like you. We need more people. You know what I mean? The more of us that give out these messages and really mean it, you know, there's no more, I don't care.
that doesn't work anymore. You are providing the platform. We're having the conversation. If other people are willing to listen, that's a great thing, and we can get them on board with this. But you know, I think when I get done working and I can go straight at solving veteran homelessness, I hope to be able to solve it in 5 years. And then go and solve something else.
To be watching.
Yeah.
If there's anything that,
Craig, mission,
that we can do,
yeah,
please don't hesitate to ask. If you got something to say, a message that you want to get across, or whatever, please just let us know.
You know, you trying to help us, but we're trying to help us. No, You did help us, and we are going to
That's
help you.
fabulous.
No
Yes.
tries.
Outstanding.
Appreciate it, bro.
Outstanding.
For
Thank
sure.
you.
For sure.
Thank you
All
so
right,
much.
ladies and gentlemen, that was Craig Hensel. Make sure that you go to leadership from the front
Cop that book.
lines.com and put your email address in.
Bezos got it on Amazon.
That's right. He got some goodies for you. Thank you, Craig.
All right,
Thank you,
Craig.
Steve.
All
Have
Take it
a
easy, bro.
great rest of the day.
right. Yes, sir. All right. I think that was great.
Craig Hansel, can we
Yeah.
get some words
oh
for
my
the
God. Yes.
for the-
like
guys of
we
the earth?
really need that. We really need that.
Hey, listen, we need
So-
that because there's a lot of following. flocks
No,
of
but
people.
there's a lot of leaders that don't exactly know how to lead.
That too. And here's the thing. To have a Caucasian fellow
But
on
it's
the
not
show.
that. It's how we're coming across.
And here's the thing, I'm unapologetically black, right? I'm unapologetically Pan-African. I run with Dr. Umar. I am a student of Dr. Umar. And it's funny that we need leaders and men to speak up for our people. And here we go. We got another. Hey, listen, pay attention to our white guys, the white guys that look out.
And it's not a racial thing.
No, it's not a
nothing
thing.
that's
They're
never
allies.
been a
Listen,
racial thing.
If we ever had an ally,
we're cutting that.
they had an ally, it's guys like Craig.
That's
Because
right.
Craig ain't got to do that. Craig
That's
ain't got
right.
to. Craig ain't got to do that. He can keep that amongst his. They already doing it. They straight. And he's trying to share that with us, and we need to take that seriously.
Yeah.
We need to start taking. We need to start protecting and looking after our allies like we look after our own people. We need to look after our allies too, because they put themselves at risk helping us.
That's right. Y'all better get a taste of this thing. Fred, look at this.
What's
We're
up?
coming back Thursday. Look.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know what the topic is going to be, but we'll be back Thursday.
She just told me something on the paper that I can't really share with y'all, so
That's right.
I'm gonna just smirk and wipe my nose and go like that. So.
Yeah. We're going to let y'all know. Just make sure that y'all. Oh, I thought I seen it pop back up. Didn't you?
Yeah, it's just something.
Make sure that y'all check back in with us on Thursday. Check on our pages and stuff. We might give you a little clue. But I want to let you know that so we're gonna have a little food drive thing.
Yeah. I want to give back this year. I got a thing that I do, but my family, my kids, me and my son did it a couple of years back for a few years in a row. So what we do is, since I was in my past, on my journey, I stayed in a shelter, and I want to kind of do that same thing and pull up to the shelter and have some trays, some food, whatever we can do.
Yeah.
Pull up 20, 30 trays and.
So Prince said he gonna do the cooking. and
Yeah, I'm
not.
getting
And I'm
kitchen for
not.
a couple of days. I'm gonna whip it up. Something that that people can enjoy. I don't know, some macaroni salad, some greens.
So what I decided to do is get
some
out
meatballs or
hats
something.
to do.
Yeah,
Hats
something.
and
Hats.
to that.
Yeah,
You
something.
know? So you know how I am. We're gonna do a little hat drive, and if you
We're trying
guys
to give
wanna,
it back and pass it
if
forward.
you guys
this
wanna
year.
donate some hats to our little drive, you're welcome to. But I want to start it off by giving Fred the first hat.
Oh, okay, nice. Hey, listen, if we can count on y'all support, we'll never forget y'all. We need y'all to stand up for
And we have somebody in the studio audience
our people
that
out here.
needs a hat.
That's my lady in the background.
Liva's in the building.
Liva's
She's
in the
always
building.
in the building. That's right. And I got my hat.
I don't know, just
Yeah,
had it gonna fit on his
that
head.
hat will fit your head. That came from the hippie fest, dog. You better take that hat. Look, I got my thing on, so we're gonna have a hat. And I also got this hat. This one's for my son.
You know,
So
wear mine like
when
a
he
hippie
when he
beanie.
comes, because he's a rapper.
All right, cool. Yeah, so you know I'm out there.
So we're gonna start it. We're gonna start it off. So I'm gonna be collecting hats. If you have any hats, make sure you bring them by here on Tuesday and Thursday. I guess
Number 1 and 2 needed items in the
we gonna
wintertime
do
are
it?
socks and hats.
we haven't picked a date. That's Christmas.
So what you want to do? Like,
To do it before New Year's, like say have it done by like here.
okay, we can pull up on a Friday night. Want to do it on a Friday
We're
night?
gonna do it on Friday night.
I mean,
Okay.
we could pull up.
Yeah, because that'll give them time to. I don't know. They don't have to. I'm gonna get a few hats. I'll give
Unless you want to do it on the
20,
23rd.
hats.
Unless you want to do it on the 23rd on that Friday.
Yeah, well, you can somewhere because it ain't gonna be that long.
No. We just pull up there Friday.
Well, we're
night.
gonna let y'all know. We're gonna let y'all know on Thursday what day we decide. That's what we'll do.
All right, yeah, because we're gonna talk it over. We still gotta work out the
Yeah,
kinks.
that sure is keep your thing.
I figure out how to cook because I'm gonna be in there cooking up like crazy. I mean, it's gonna take probably like 8 hours, 7-8 hours to cook.
To cook?
Yeah,
You think that long?
yeah, it's gonna be like 20-30 plates.
This don't work good on my butt, but
Make the meatballs from scratch.
don't work good on my butt. But we're gonna be giving out hats. All right. So
Yes, so
we want to thank everybody.
Thank everybody
Make sure
for
they
coming
come
out,
in.
coming
Got
through.
oh, that's him thanking.
hey Craig, man, thank you, bro. We appreciate
Nah,
you
that's
coming.
sex. That's a thing.
I thought it was a lie, Joe.
Nah, he put it in that thing. It's a private one. It was private. All right, so we're getting up out of here early today.
Yeah,
We had a guest, so we'd be on time. So the reason why we stay on the time schedule here at the Comfort Level Podcast is so that we can save these recordings if we have to put them back up because they have to stay in a certain amount of time. Yeah, so if I go over, then we won't be able to put up the recording when we're not available. So we want to run this again. Yeah. So we're off of here.
We do it live, so
Yeah. Now make sure you know that everybody was on. You can come down here and check us out here at the Comfort Level Podcast at WCMD Media. We're at Dare Academy, 1656 Kane Avenue, Camden, New Jersey.
formerly the Reds.
Yep. Find us on social media platforms everywhere you get your podcasts. We got 4 Facebook pages: Twitter, Twitch, LinkedIn, YouTube, and the web. And my website is www.thecomfortlevel.com.
Comfortlevel.com.
Easy. Make sure you go on the comfortlevel.com and like the page. You can also leave a review. You can also make a donation. Check us out. Subscribe. Leave us a review or a donation or request to be on the show. All right, Fred.
All right, y'all. We about to end it for the night.